we go racing week in, week out, and podiums is what we aim for. And if everything feels right on the day, you push for a race win. But when you've got the same three faces up there, it becomes a three-horse race, you know. And we got out and we got stuck in, and we managed to pull a bit of a gap behind me. And Shaky come back to me with Josh about halfway through the race, and I felt good, but just seemed to lose a lot of time on the straights and have to make it up in the corners again. So it was always like a sort of catch-22 situation, and like an elastic band effect. So I was never in the position to make a pass on Josh. There was a bit of a sort of coming together with a few of us at the beginning, me, Nori, and a few other riders, and then got in front and managed to sort of like track them down. But it was always going to be a bit difficult. Everyone's riding hard, and especially us three, we're riding at the top of our game and pushing hard. So. Not a bad weekend, but as I've said, like even last year, you can be consistently on the podium, but if people are consistently on the podium week in, week out, and the same riders, then and if someone's consistently winning and being in front, it was my turn last weekend. It was Shaky's this weekend. It might be Josh's next time, but hopefully it'll be ours, and we'll be on the back on the top step.
I'd actually stopped even looking at my board to see the gap. I'd forgotten about what was happening behind me, and I was just focusing on making the best laps I could, not making any mistakes. And normally you just sit there and, with some other riders, you can sit there in second and wait for them to make a mistake, and you'll find an opportunity to pass, perhaps. But I know Shaky too well. He's not going to do that. If you just sit there in second, you're all you're going to get is second. So I thought the only way to do anything in this race is to just force it, And although that runs a bit of a risk. It was a risk I was willing to take, and I tried in a few, as you say, I tried in a few places, and I didn't really think I was going to get round the outside in turn one, but I thought it was worth a shot. I'm sure the crowd enjoyed it, and I enjoyed having a try, but I knew someone like Shaky was just going to sit it up and let me have to shut off. So then I tried a couple of times into turn two, and one time there we actually made contact for a few seconds, whilst my front tyre was rubbing on his leg, and I thought I might have pushed him out of the way a bit, but he kept leaning on me and forcing me back. So situations like that can easily go wrong, of course, but I was just desperate. I wanted to try and win, and with a few laps to go, I'd cooked the tyre. I couldn't go any further. I couldn't push anymore. I was making mistakes, and Shaky cleared off. But up until a couple of laps to go, I felt really confident on the bike. I was able to push it in certain areas. I could find areas where I had an advantage, and of course there were other areas where I had disadvantage, but it was, I guess I don't like to enjoy a second position, but I enjoyed that race.
The second race was probably even more difficult, to be honest. I went a little bit faster in the beginning than I did in the first race, but didn't make a break, and the guys just stayed on me constantly. So, the story is much the same as Josh's, really. Just trying to be as precise and careful as possible and not make any mistakes. And then I seen Josh come up round the outside of me onto the start-finish line. And I thought, oh no! And he had me around the outside at paddock, and I wanted to kind of let off a little bit so he couldn't get past. But at the same time, I didn't want to run myself wide and risk losing a drive up to Druids. But fortunately we hung on and just pushed really, really hard for the last few laps. I actually missed a gear. I had a bit of a wobble out onto Surtees on one of the last laps, and then I missed a gear in between Westfield and Sheen Curve. And I thought, oh no, that's it, they're going to do me, because I had +0 on my board. And I just tried to be really, really tidy for the last 2 or 3 corners, and unfortunately held on for a double. So massive thanks to Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki. They've done a good job after Alton Park. They've gone back to the drawing board, worked really, really hard, and giving me a bite now that's really, really strong.